Welcome to the cable company. I'm Gator, by the way. And this is my NASA. I want to dedicate this to all the Rocketeers out there, Bob and Tony Rebels. They're contributing to the Apollo mission. And my girl, so my Lisa, she died. She died at the hands of greed. Northeast Georgia Medical Association. They had an organ donor tag on her leg down by her foot. I got pictures. You can go look at the videos. I think there's about 105 on there now. I told you I'll never stop. I don't care if one person looks at it. It's all. I see one part. I can look at it. I do try to look at them all, because I just see, make sure they're right. I'm sure that, they got some, YouTube is off the chain, I like it. But this is all, it's all for Lisa, okay? And you just, this is, she can save your life, people, okay? But this is, let's move along, because I got somebody, they wrote me, I got a thing. I'm glad it might be a little young but they talk to your mom and dad, Angie and Bo. I have a friend. His name is Bo. He's an old biker buddy. What the fact sheets are. This is what you, to answer your question. I don't know how you can. I don't know if you can buy a fact sheet like what I got. But this is, if you'll see all these right here, these is fact sheets. Okay, you see. Here I'm it makes me happy that the younger generation is interested in this. But this is a fact sheet that I got in my in my collection I have. But when I say fact sheets and I don't know, to answer your other question, I don't know if you can buy these. I don't know how you can get a hold of it. I'm just telling you the truth. I really don't know. Launch Operations Center fact sheet. Launch Operations Center. The shooting end of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration is handled by the Launch Operations Center at Cape Canaveral, Florida. Directed by Dr. Kurt H. DeBus, veteran of more than 600 launchings. The center is responsible for overall planning and supervision of systems integration, checkout, and launch of NASA space vehicles at the Atlantic Missile Range. The center and its predecessor, the Launch Operations Directorate of the George C. Marshall Space Flight Center, has been responsible for the launching of all space vehicles developed by Dr. Wernher von Braun, famous team since the formation of NASA in July 1960. More than 125 vehicles have been launched at Cape Canaveral during this time. Previously, many of the launch personnel, including Dr. DeBus, were employed by the Missile Firing Laboratory of the Army Ballistic Missiles Agency. Dr. DeBus and his team are charged with launch operations from the powerful Saturn and the larger multi-million-pound thrust space vehicles required for the manned lunar landing program. In this program, NASA has the mission of landing astronauts on the moon and returning them to Earth. The first trip is scheduled for completion before the end of 1970. 4 launch complexes and associated electronic and optical tracking stations presently are assigned to the LOC at the Cape. These are complexes 56 two Redstone pads, 26 two Jupiter June pads, and 34 Saturn and Complex 37 two Saturn pads. The center is also charged with planning and establishing future launch sites for the multi-million pound thrust advanced Saturn and Nova space vehicles. Yeah, isn't that awesome right there? Okay. Well, there you go. There you go, Bo. And these are the facts. See, I wanted to bring these out anyway. You hit it right on the nose. Yeah, these are fact sheets. This is where I get my, I got a lot of my information, as I told you, Mr. Rebel, I got it right from the horse's mouth, and then I got to be careful of my brain. I'm losing my mind, so I can't keep Chrysler. Yes, I'm sorry, people. My brain, it won't stay on the same thing. Ed had that same thing, it's dementia. I make a joke out of it, deleted deed. Well, it's not funny at all. There's nothing funny about dementia, I assure you. Dr. Kurt H. DeBus, Director of Launch Operations Center. This is another fact sheet. Dr. Kurt H. DeBus heads the National Aeronautics and Space Administration Launch Operations Center, Cape Canaveral, Florida. The Launch Operations Center, LOC, was established to provide overall planning and supervision in the integration, checkout, and launch of NASA space vehicles at the Atlantic Missile Range and the Merritt Island Launch Area. Under Dr. DeBus' direction, the Launch Operations Center is planning and constructing facilities for the 7.5 million pound thrust Saturn V that will launch astronauts to the moon within this decade. LOC is responsible for all Saturn launch operations. The DeBus team has launched more than 140 rockets and space vehicles from Cape Canaveral since the first United States ballistic missile, the Redstone, was fired by the Army in August of 1953. The record of successes includes the launch of Explorer 1, the first U.S. satellite, Pioneer 4, the first U.S. probe to orbit the Sun, 1.5 million pound thrust Saturn I launch vehicles, and support of manned orbital flights in Mercury spacecraft. Born in Frankfurt, Germany on November the 29th, 1908, Dr. DeBus was the son of a member of the management team of the I.G. Farben Company, pre-war German industrial complex. He attended high school at the Lee B. Oberreal School, then Darmstadt University. Oh, forgive me, people, I can't say that. Where he received his initial and advanced degrees in mechanical and electrical engineering. After receiving his doctorate in 1939, he served as assistant professor at Darmstadt. While at Darmstadt, he became involved in rocket research programs conducted at PMD, including development of the V2. He was a member of a group of 120 German rocket scientists who, with Dr. Werner von Braun, arrived at Fort Strong, Boston, Massachusetts in November 1945. The group later transferred to Fort Bliss, El Paso, Texas, where they worked in development of ballistic missiles for the Army. All are now United States citizens. With Dr. von Braun, Dr. DeBus transferred to the Army Ballistic Missile Agency in Huntsville, Alabama. He received his first assignment at Cape Canaveral in 1952. Many members of the original DeBus team that manned the blockhouse for the first Redstone launch in 1953 are at the Launch Operations Center today. Dr. DeBus, who has participated in more than 600 rocket launches during his career, was cited by the Army with its most outstanding civilian award, the Exceptional Civilian Service Decoration, in April of 1959. He is a fellow of the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. Dr. DeBus and his wife, Gay, reside at Patrick Air Force Base, Florida. They have two daughters, Sigrid, who resides at home, and Yuchi, who was married after her graduation from Vanderbilt University in 1962 and now resides in Baltimore, Maryland. And these days, and all this is just history. And I am so sorry, people. I'm just a dumb hillbilly. I've never heard, I've just never heard them say it. Ain't that wild? We live in this, I don't know what that is right there. Okay, we're still doing good. All right, this right here, I wanted to show you this, okay? This is, in LifeLink. LifeLink is a non-profit organization that, go around bragging about, hey, man, we find organs for you. I call them the happy hookers, okay? Because they'll hook you up. All right? You need an organ, you have to pay. So who's going to pay for all this? I signed off on 3 of them bill collectors, and, it just, oh, man, they're really, it's a wonderful thing how they operate, man. I bet they get, everything's wonderful, but they practice that. They practice deception and deceiving people. I want to get it out there to you, but I can't do it. I can't hate, man. I don't want to cry. So, medical benefits from space. Now, you can learn something, okay? We read this here. This is what it's all about, okay? There's a lot of things it's all about. It should, protect us, and, we can, we can, man, we're doing the right thing, Titan has got that. Man, I can't believe that they released some information now. Titan is just it's a whole lot closer to being like an Earth, atmosphere. They say got oceans under and shit, smaller, but this is what it's all about. Medical benefits from space research. Computer techniques that clarified photographs televised across 140 million miles of space from Mars are now being used to make medical x-rays more revealing. Isn't that wonderful? And this guy built a sensor, right? And from the meteorites hitting the spaceships, he can tell it. Well, he changed that and put a little basket. He heard some other biologists. They were talking about getting the heartbeat of the egg, and fertilized egg, without breaking through the shell or nothing. So his sensor, he modified it, put it in a little basket and jumped around when it beat. He measured it. Okay, so he's fucking smart. Smart man. And they've got the this is what they do. This is what this book right here is telling you about the how they turn the stuff into and then there's like the electrodes, the probes they come off, and then they use a helmet like we do now. And interesting biomedical applications. Actual or potential biomedical applications of space technology that have already been found represent both impressive variety and appealing ingenuity. Here are a few additional examples. New alloy for artificial joints at the NASA Lewis Research Center near Cleveland, Ohio. 2 researchers in the material laboratory were seeking more durable alloys for use in mechanical bearings and that must function in the high vacuum and low temperatures of space, an environment where evaporation of conventional lubricants results in metal-to-metal contact, high friction, and bearing failure. In tests of the research has found that those having a heterogonal crystal structure outperformed conventional alloys with a cubic crystal structure in reducing friction and resisting wear. The new alloy, besides being useful for bearings and seals in spacecraft and airplanes, appear to be valuable because of their low friction and non-corrosive character for making artificial hip and elbow joints. Slight switch. A switch activated only by voluntary movement of the eye was developed for NASA by Alabama Company as a potential aid to astronauts in situation where high G forces might make them unable to move their arms or legs. It is a clever device in which a light source is mounted at each side of a pair of eyeglasses. See photo below. Okay, well there's your photo. And then, it just your eyes picks up that light, and it sets off. It sets the switch. You can run anything. Computer. They all kinds. You can run. Hey, you got one guy running. He's quadriplegic. He run around in a wheelchair. He controls it with his eyes. I mean, getting more for the space dollar. The NASA program to facilitate applications of aerospace technology to biomedical problems is one of the several efforts by the Office of Technology Utilization to carry out the following objectives: to increase the return on the national investment in aeronautical and space programs by helping to bring about additional uses of knowledge gained in these programs, to shorten the time gap between the development of new knowledge and its broad and effective utilization, to aid in the movement of new knowledge across industrial, disciplinary, and regional boundaries, to help develop better methods for communicating and applying government-generated knowledge in the private economy. NASA's growing file of biomedical benefits from space research is evidence that in still another area of life, the gap is steadily closing between space technology and pressing needs of man back on Earth. U.S. Government Training Office. Isn't that cool? That's all. But that's what I'm telling you. They got robotics. You know what I mean? We can get some robotics, And we got a couple more minutes here. Okay, let's see, but let's stay right there. Just like Okay, look at this one here. Okay, and this one right here. This is the Thor right here. This one right here, this is the Saturn, I believe. That one there is a Saturn taken at liftoff. That's the Saturn V. And, this Saturn 1, I'll read that to you. If you want me to. Saturn V. But, I'll read that. I'll make a little deal of that one. And then this one here is a back sheet for the space shuttle. That's coming up next. I'm gonna read that one. It's already they've already shut it down. Ain't that something? And then we get into the drawing. I got the press kit, and you've seen that. Look at that. That has got everything you want to know. This is where we look through Saturn. I got individual too, though. And I got individual stuff, and so but as always, this is mine, and but y'all come back and see me. There's nothing that nothing that I have is everything's been declassified. Okay, I would never jeopardize showing something that's not supposed to be. Mr. Revels had no problem talking about it. It's just old news. Everybody's got it. I mean, if you know, hey, you know what? Let's just think about it. The reason I'm doing this is because of Lisa and Lisa's dream, and they was going to kill her and take her organs. And then 30 days later, she had a donor tear, so the damnedest thing I ever seen in my life. But hopefully I may, you can, some of you enjoy it. The rest of y'all just sign Lisa's grandbaby-in-law. We ain't got to worry about it. Then I can, man, her soul would be blessed, and all 1,000 people's soul is just caught. They dirty people, man, and it's all about money, and it's hard to believe it. I didn't believe it my damn self, I lived it, though. All right, y'all come back and say, oh, did I tell you my address? Well, you look at it, Mitchell Aaron Senior, 301 Harbor Valley Road, Tacoma, Georgia, 30577. Write me today. Tell me what's on your mind, and I'll tell you what's on mine. If I can keep it, Come on back and see me. Bye-bye.